Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Roy Cannaday, and this is my Q&A. So I'm super excited to have you here. If anybody doesn't know who I am, I do a lot of video editing behind the scene. I edit all of Tom's reviews, and I edit a ton of different things, and run a lot of the live streams here at the Dice Tower. Of course, I do have Chris and Mike and Z and Tom and everybody else also does some editing here and there, and then they also help run streams and stuff like that, especially when we have big crazy events like spectaculars and stuff like that. It's all hands on deck, but definitely get fired up with some of your questions to ask me, and I will be picking some of those questions to answer, and maybe you can get to know a little bit more about me, maybe get to know a little bit more about what goes on here at the Dice Tower, behind the scenes, those sort of crazy different things, and how things work. But yeah, let's see. What are the questions gonna be? Let's see what people have been up to. And we're back! Roy! Awesome. Let's see. Everybody was talking for quite a little bit here before we even started. What would be a good question? I'm looking for question marks on the end of sentences. Everybody has lots of things here. Let's see. Bonnie Cruz says, I missed the Q&As with all the new peoples. Anybody have any questions for Roy? So trying to prime up the thing. It was awesome. I was excited that we had like Camilla and Wendy get to do like some of their, I think this was both their first Q&As as well. I know Chris has done some before. I've done a bunch of Q&As in the past, but they've been scattered around from time to time. Everybody's counting down until we start. Let's see. Bonnie Crew also asks, are you still the trader or did Camilla take that over? I don't know that we've played like a hidden trader game or social deduction game with Camilla. I'm known from back in the day or back on my podcast or maybe even some of the Dice Tower games we played for doing interesting things as the trader or being able to blend in sometimes, but shh, don't tell anybody. But yeah, I'm trying to let that die down, so next time I'll be able to strike. You know, it's always up to, that did happen in, what was it, Unfathomable. Tom made me the trader, and then we basically just wrecked the game and won pretty quickly after that. This is an interesting question. What is the best coaster? What is the best roller coaster? I don't know the names of all the different roller coasters I've ridden. I know at Disney the best one, I really like the rocking roller coaster at Hollywood Studios. But for like the coasters on a bunch of the other ones, I don't know. There's a coaster that at Universal like plays music while you ride it. It's also awesome. I guess I just like coasters that play music while you ride them. But yeah, I have season passes to Busch Gardens, which I'm probably going to at the end of the month again. And I really enjoyed some of the coasters there. I just don't know all the names of them, so I need to get more familiar with everything. I really do enjoy roller coasters, so it's definitely fun to hit all that stuff up. What's next? Oh, let's see here. I'm starting to really enjoy the space theme. Can you recommend a game easy to get into games that are space themed? Let's see. What was the one? There's the really short Race for the Galaxy style game. What was it called? Like Jump Drive or something like that, or Jump like Warp Speed. Man, I don't remember the name of that game. Chris recently played it with Wendy, and they really enjoyed it. It's basically like Race for the Galaxy, but like really, really snappy and quick. Space-themed games. I really still enjoy Alien Frontiers. It was one of the games that really started off Kickstarter. It's a really simple like dice placement game. You're rolling dice, trying to get different faces on it, like different combinations to get more dice to be able to place more stuff out, gather different resources, and then do an area control thing on this planet. It's all very sci-fi themed. All the different areas on the planet are named after different sci-fi authors. You can unlock different powers as you're taking over the planet. You're trying to get your little colony things to go up so you can push them down there. I always had a ton of fun with Alien Frontiers, and I think it's really accessible overall. So Alien Frontiers would probably be a really good pick for a space-themed game. As Roy would say, let's go, says Loopy. I would say that. I do that sort of thing. Roy, we have Killmilla, Destroy, Punyi. Give us some help with a nickname for Wendy. Wendy's awesome. Let's see. What'd be a good one? Man, I don't know. I'm going to compliment Wendy back. She's also super smart at games and has beaten me in several games before, so I'm not the smartest one. It might actually be Wendy. But I don't know. Wendy. It has to be, I guess it has to be all punny with the rest of the stuff. But Wendy does a lot of painting for the Dice Tower as well. Maybe we'll leave that up to the pun master, Mr. Chris, to come up with a one for Wendy. What's good? What's good? Oh, this has to be added. True. Let's see here. Questions. Is Mike a hacker? I have to help Mike use computers on a daily basis. It's okay. What was your first tattoo? Far be it from me to ever get a tattoo. I don't think tattoos probably hurt too much. I don't know that I could get any tattoos. Just ignore this. No, I actually got a nautical star on my shoulder back when, I guess I was probably like either 19 or 20. So it was like a nautical star that I got. Pretty cool. Editing can take lots of time. What is the biggest thing that bogs you down while editing? A lot of times render time was a huge thing. We were always trying to like upgrade technology and get better computers and things like that. But rendering time and then figuring out how to manage hard drive space. We do so many videos and so much content. A lot of times trying to figure out where to store all the different files and what files we need to save, and then uploading everything and making sure everything's in the right place and figuring out what we can delete and can't delete. That can bog things down a bit. The actual editing process isn't normally too hard as long as it's like something that is like a serial thing, like putting a review together. It's much like popping the stuff in the right place and making sure everything is right. Or if it's like an unboxing thing, it's like putting everything where it needs to go, that sort of stuff. There's a little bit more work, and I really enjoy like the creative part of it, like doing a lot of intros and doing a lot of things like that. You get to be more creative, but that's really fun when you get to get into the zone and be like, okay, I'm doing this and putting this here and changing this up there. But mainly like render time bogs stuff down a lot, like having to wait on the computer to finish all the processing to get all that stuff out, especially when you're working with really big videos and things like that. Let's see here. I'm not going to answer too many these questions, but I answer, I guess, a little bit because people are asking some of them. Hey, Roy, greetings from Mexico. Loving the puzzles for Last Light. Have you been involved in those? So a lot of the puzzle stuff is actually the Gray Fox Games team. So they're putting a lot of that stuff together. I know Lance did some of the writing. I know Christian's like our graphic designer. He also did the cover, but he did a lot of work on putting together some of the puzzles and things like that. So they've been doing all that and putting up the website and all that stuff for all of those things. So if you don't know, you can go to lastlightgame.com and check out the puzzles and things that are there. There's a bunch of little puzzles based on the different aliens, and it gives you like opportunity to do stuff with that. Will Last Light the Roll and Write be offered as a game found campaign or something you start working on after a successful campaign? Do we need a Roll and Write for everything? Honestly, I personally am not super huge on Roll and Writes. I know people love them, but like Yahtzee's been done, you know? So Roll and Writes are fine and they're cute and things like that, and I enjoy them a little bit, but they're not something that I like pursue. And I don't have any desire to like design roll and write games. What are your top 5 4X games? It's hard for me to do like a full top 5. I really love Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. Twilight Imperium is amazing. I love Eclipse. But after that, it starts to get a little bit more hairy because there's stuff that people say is like 4X and is not necessarily 4X that some people would put on their list. But there's several others that I've played that weren't like wowing me enough to be super huge. But I've played several others. And then I played some card games and things like that that say they're 4X. But you really have to have that full-on like gathering resources and building units on a board and taking over areas to really feel like a real 4X game. Sort of like a 4X video game would have been back in the day. Do ranking games come naturally to you, or is it a challenge? That's an interesting thing. I mean, when I sit down and act, like I don't do as many top 10 lists as a lot of the other guys, but when I sit down and actually do it and like take the effort and the time to do it, I don't think it's too hard for me to decide or determine which things I like more than others. I don't think it's too hard to do it, but I don't normally like rank everything in my life or anything like that. I know Tom goes crazy with like, oh, top 10 drinks, top 10 this. But yeah, when it comes down to the games, I can easily determine myself which ones I like more than others. But I have to like actually focus on it and make sure it happens. So I probably medium weight there. So it's not too hard, but I make it happen. Oh, I have to read a super chat from Ray Anderson. Love you. I love you too. I'm super excited about my first game at Dice Tower West. Any chance you will have my most anticipated game last night there? It's another last night question. Dice Tower West, I should have at least a prototype or something like that there. I have been petitioned that I have to play other games because I played a lot at the retreat and things like that. So I'm going to be teaching a lot of the hot games in the hot games area, so you can play all sorts of different games with me there as well. But I probably will have Last Light around somewhere. I know a lot of people really want to play it and really want to try it out, and maybe I'll be able to have something that I can let other people teach each other and play, so that way I don't have to necessarily be involved in every single game, so that I can also play other games with other people. But I should have some sort of copy there. I know people are super excited, and I definitely appreciate that. Let's see here. Oh my goodness, there are so many last light questions. Ooh. Let's do this. What was the most difficult part about designing a game? I'm just gonna put it there. So I think it's funny because a lot of people are like, oh, this is Roy's first design game. I've designed plenty of games. There's lots of games I've designed and worked around with. There's tons of different stuff. And other games I've actually pitched to publishers a little bit too. But this was way back in the day, because when I first started board gaming and got out of Magic and D&D and got more into tabletop gaming, I was like, I can design a game. Wrong. I need to do way more research and get way more into the industry and get way more excited about that stuff. There's a lot of games that I have designed, and it's just really finding something that just works really well and has the fun factor and functions properly and just gets people excited about the game, and streamline. Those are all things that are extremely important. All of the other games that I have designed are in the trash can. I threw them away because I didn't think they were worth like bringing it actually to market. This is the game that I'm actually like excited and passionate about, and I think people are actually really going to enjoy. The most difficult part is probably just making sure like everything works together, all the mechanics flow together, and you're not coming up with weird, broken, strange things and stuff like that. It's not too hard to do if you've played a ton of games. It helps to like see how games work and how people interact with games to kind of know how that stuff can come together. When will Tom be getting his tattoo? I don't think he's going to be getting any more tattoos anytime soon, so I don't know. Oh, Roy, greetings from Romania. Did you play the Ankh expansions? I did not see any reviews. Advanced Tower. So I have not played. I think I've only played like base game Ankh, and then maybe with some of the stuff mixed in, like the different monsters and things like that. I haven't played with the Pharaohs thing yet, which I really want to. I really enjoy playing with that and adding some of the extra stuff in as well. I haven't played with much of the expansion stuff. I have it, and I really want to play it. I just really need to get that stuff back to the table. It's such an interesting thing doing tabletop games and being pulled in all sorts of different directions. Sometimes you don't necessarily get to play a game as much as you want to, but maybe that'd be another good game to play at like Dice Tower West or on the cruise or something like that. I would love to play more Ankh and try out some of those expansions. That would be great. I get this question all the time. So it looks like you've been losing a lot of weight since I first saw you on the Dice Tower. Is everything okay? Everything is definitely okay. I worked super hard to try to lose as much weight as I did. I know I've lost quite a bit. I don't even keep track of it anymore. But yeah, I was mostly cutting way back on the amount of food I was eating. I was eating like frozen burritos at lunch like every single day, and now I've been doing a little bit more intermittent fasting. I started off doing like the keto stuff and switching over to mostly just eating only meat so that my body was better at burning fat, and then just running laps around my neighborhood. Like I ran around in circles. So it was all very intentional. And I'm actually pretty happy with where I'm at now. So I've definitely cut back on trying to lose weight in any way. But just trying to maintain and stay where I'm at and not get back to eating way too much. But yeah, super good there. But definitely doing well. Do you sometimes pull pranks on the Dice Tower crew? That's mostly Kenny. I occasionally have done weird, silly stuff. Like we have a mannequin called Manny that sometimes people will scare people with. We did this strangely, I think Kenny was trying to take home a can of green beans once, and I kept like hiding the green beans all over the place. We were making fun of this mustard pack, how on the McDonald's hot mustard, it's called like Moostard, and I kept like putting it on everybody else's desk just randomly to troll people. I don't know why. And they kept putting it back on my desk, and then I put it on their desk. It's like nothing too crazy, nothing too silly, but I don't know, just keep things light and fun. But yeah, I've noticed that if I troll Kenny, then the trolling comes back tenfold. So I've backed off on doing as much of that, even though it's always in the back of my mind, like I could do this sort of thing. So watch out. But yeah, let's see here. Oh, how are things settling in the new studio? The new studio is awesome. It doesn't even feel like the new studio anymore because we've been here for quite a while at this point. And sometimes I think back, oh, it hasn't been that long. But yeah, it's definitely awesome. I love the fact that we have all the different stuff. There's still some things that I feel like we could work on, like making sure all of our audio stuff is like as up to date and working as well as we need it to be. We've done a lot to try to like fix the acoustics in the room so we don't have as much echo and things like that. But I love the space. And the Dice Tower's grown even more. So now it's like, oh my goodness, we have Camilla and Wendy here a lot more often, and everybody's on board and like in the studio. So it's like definitely bustling and busy, but I love the atmosphere we have here. And I just love the fact that we have a place that's like actually ours, that we can like do exactly what we want to with it. The new studio is great. Have you watched any new anime recently? I've been watching, what's it called? Jutsu Kaisen. I watched a whole bunch of episodes of that recently. I think I'm like up to episode 5. That's not that many. But I don't watch shows a ton. So I've been watching through that. And then watching the new season of Demon Slayer. I've only watched the first episode so far, but trying to get through that as well. I'm really enjoying it. And then I'll occasionally watch Hunter x Hunter with my kids or with my girlfriend's kids, or my son really likes One Piece a lot. So whenever he's around, we always watch One Piece a bunch. So that's always fun. Is the beard and stash here for now or here to stay? It's probably here for now, mostly because I don't feel like I can grow facial hair super well. Like it like just doesn't grow here at all. And I think it looks kind of silly. But occasionally I grow it out a little bit, and then I'll occasionally be like, I'm tired of this, and shave it off, and then start over again. It's always funny because people always mention that stuff, especially when they see you on video or they haven't seen you in a while, and then you come back, and then like everybody's like, where'd the facial hair go? It's always very interesting to see how the internet reacts to, I guess, people's appearances and things like that. But, you know, it's here for now, you know, for the most part. We'll see. Have you always lived in Florida? No, so I actually, I was born in Georgia, and then my childhood I spent mostly in Martinsville, Virginia. That's where my dad is from. My mom is from Georgia. And then I moved down to North Carolina with my parents, kind of like in my like late teens. And then I was in North Carolina for a long time. And my kids were born in North Carolina as well. And then I moved down to Florida to actually work for the Dice Tower. So I moved down to Homestead, and I actually really like Florida a lot. The weather is amazing. There's a ton of things to do in Miami. There's always comedians and shows coming into town. There's theme parks and stuff around. There's lots of exciting stuff to do. There's amazing beaches. I really enjoy Miami and all the things around it. Lots of amazing restaurants. Also, there's always something going on in like a big city, so it's always fun to be able to interact with that stuff and have things to do, fun arcades and things like that. And I don't know. There's a lot more like nerdy culture stuff down here too, which I really enjoy also. So all sorts of different stuff going on. Oh, Jump Drive is definitely the name of the Race for the Galaxy. I thought I said it right, but then I like was second guessing myself. And Space Base is another great space game that's for a lighter one. Wonder Windy! Everybody's coming up with windy names now. I'm going to have to skip ahead because there's so many windy names, I'm sure. Let's see. Oh, how did the kids like the day at the beach the other day? It's always so funny to be like, what's in the middle of winter for most people can be like a day at the beach down here in like South Florida. There's something, I don't know, about that I find kind of funny because everybody always gets mad when I post pictures of us at the beach. I like going to the beach a lot. It's a lot of fun. I like making a day of it, going out there, like letting the kids play in the water. I like to do like cookouts and stuff. We got, I did like charcoal on a grill. They have a lot of like really cool parks where it's like they have shades and like little grills and stuff like that, like you'd normally have at a park. And we cooked hot dogs and had Lunchables and roasted marshmallows. And that's always fun to have those experiences with the kids and just played around the water and act silly. So yeah, they had a blast. They love going to the pool and going to the beaches and things like that. So it's always a ton of fun. And, you know, it's something you don't normally get to do in the middle of December or January or whatever in most places in the Northern Hemisphere if you go further away from the equator. But down here in South Florida, we get to kind of enjoy the weather all year round, which is a perk. Let's see. Can you name the game you've played that comes in the smallest box you've seen and the game that comes in the biggest box? Smallest box probably has to be one of those Pack-O-Gum games. I played several of those. Like, I know there's like a little war one, and then there's ones like Gem and stuff like that. So those are really tiny, like Pack-O-Gum size, like really, really small. The biggest box... I mean, Gloomhaven is pretty up there. And if you're talking about a single box, I mean, Twilight Imperium 3 might have been bigger volume. I think 4 maybe is slightly less volume, like as far as like the box. Those big coffin boxes were huge back in the day. I think people forget about when Fantasy Flight had those. I mean, they were long, but they were also pretty deep. So that might actually have more volume than Gloomhaven does. It's probably still those coffin boxes. I played several games that came in those coffin boxes from Fantasy Flight. Let's see here. Oh, man. Have you taken a jet boat ride through the Everglades? I have not. That would be an awesome thing to do. Yeah, I should put that on the list of activities that I'd like to try to make happen. Because one of those airboats would be a lot of fun. Let's see. How many countries have you played games in? I have not really gone, and this is really sad, I have not really gone to like other countries and things like that much. The closest thing I have done is when I've gone on the Dice Tower cruise, just the ports we've stayed at there. So I've played stuff on the cruise. I've never been able to go to the UK. I've never been to Europe. I actually don't even own a passport because I've never been out of the country, which is sad. 2020 was supposed to be the year that I was going to go to Essen and UKGE, and everybody knows how 2020 ended up. I don't have to rehash any of that. But yeah, I've never actually had an opportunity to officially play a game in another country because, of course, when we went to the ports, we weren't playing games in those countries. You know, we just went into, like, we did Cozumel, so went to Mexico and then went to Jamaica and things like that. So nothing too crazy, but I did not play games there. What do you think your life will be like when you turn 50 like Mike? That kind of rhymed a little bit. Mike's 50? Wow. No, what is that? I am 35, so that's like what? It's a lot of years away. Yeah, I really don't know. I wonder what the world will be like in general. You know, will we all just be plugged into VR machines by then? Will electric cars be driving the streets? I don't know. We'll see. It'll be a little ways away, but I'm sure it'll be exciting and adventurous. Honestly, I know what I'll be doing. I'll be pursuing my passions. Whatever that is, I'll be going after it. Whether it's, I'm just going to be doing the things that like I'm excited about, because that's how I like to live life anyway. I'm super passionate about the Dice Tower. I love doing things here. I'm super passionate about the board game industry as a whole. So the things that I'm passionate about, I'm going to be chasing after those. Oh! What are your thoughts on the Mutants Big Box expansion coming to Marvel Champions? What would you like to see in it? I did see something about something slightly leaked that had sort of like a Mutants title. Now I'm going to have to go like scour the internet and see if I can find more leaks. It's funny. I actually had a conversation with like the designers of the game, and I was like, listen, you need to like do a reboot of like a core set when you put X-Men in, so there's another entry point into the game and people can buy in and get on the X-Men stuff. And I really don't like the model of only having one core set and then kind of like going from there, because I think it'd be cool to have more ways for people to get into the game, because it's really hard for somebody, if I say, hey, play Marvel Champions, buy this thing that's like 4 years old or 3 years old or however old it is at this point. It's like they don't want to buy something that's really old. They want to buy the brand new hotness thing. So if they have another entry point, that'd be really cool. So I'm not sure. I'm guessing it's maybe just an expansion for the X-Men thing. What do I want to see? I mean, obviously I want to see all the standard mutants and stuff. I'm sure it's been interesting because the way they've been doing these campaign boxes is they put heroes in there that are not necessarily the main heroes, and then they sell the main heroes in the packs. So I'm guessing they're probably going to have something like, man, I would love to see like a Gambit and Rogue be like the characters, and then they probably have a pack for like Wolverine, obviously, and then like Storm and Colossus and Professor X. Oh man, I'd love to play a Professor X deck. That would be awesome. But yeah, I'm stoked about all the X-Men. And Marvel, I just saw that they were talking on the news for Board Game Breakfast about more Lord of the Rings stuff coming out for the Lord of the Rings game. Like, Marvel Champions is going to go on forever. And my wallet is just going to be completely empty by the time they're done. But I really enjoy the game, and I have a lot of fun playing it. And I try to keep up, even though I feel like I'm always behind. I try to keep up with it and continue to play it because I like playing a lot. And I cannot wait for X-Men. I definitely will be getting and playing that. Do you have any formal training, or are you self-taught in editing and production? I don't have any formal training. It's mostly all learning through YouTube videos, learning through trial and error, like trying to put stuff together. If I can't figure something out, Google it. It's so crazy like how much these days you can find information online about how to do almost anything. And if you're willing to put forth the effort, you can really educate yourself. I mean, there's a lot of like big name people that are just like, just go out there and find the information. If you're passionate about something, you can educate yourself on it and become really proficient in it, especially if you're able to work things out or you're good at problem solving. I really enjoy like figuring out how things work. It's crazy because everybody here in the office normally ends up coming to me for like tech questions or like how this works, or, oh, I'm having a problem with this. And a lot of times I'm able to just like intuit or like figure out how to do it or look it up. Chris is also really good at figuring a lot of that stuff out as well. It's just having a knack for like all the different tech stuff and things like that and throwing all the stuff together. Do you have a favorite game upgrade? I mean, I really enjoy when games get painted. I love upgrading games in that way. I also really enjoy like acrylic tokens. I have these tokens for my Marvel Champions set from, Buy the Same Token. And I use those for all of my games, and a lot of them are very like centered around, they have tokens that they've actually made for like the specific characters also, and I really enjoy the way those look. It's just cool to have like something a little bit more sturdy. I have acrylic tokens for Dune as well. So I love that sort of stuff. That helps like make the game feel more sturdy as you're playing it. And sometimes they have like cooler designs than the original tokens do. I really like it when the graphic design's even better on those upgraded tokens than they are in the actual like game. Do you have a favorite comedian? Probably Dave Chappelle. I really enjoy his stuff. I mean, he's the GOAT, right? As they say. But yeah, I like a whole bunch of different comedians and stuff like that. I enjoy goodness, mostly all the ones you see on Netflix for the most part. Tom Segura, Joe Rogan, Bert. I like. Oh man, there's so many different people. I just like enjoying like listening to comedy. I know a lot of times like, oh, this is pretty edgy, but I think that's what comedy does for the most part. But I enjoy just listening to it and laughing along with it. It's good to have like nice, silly stuff. Um, have you played any of the fan-made heroes or villains for Marvel Champions? I wish I had the opportunity to do that sort of thing. I'm so far behind on like getting. I mean, I've played all of the heroes, but I haven't played through all of the villains in the Thanos Rising set or the Mad Titan Shadow is what it's called. Why I call it Thanos Rising? That's a completely different game. But the Mad Titan Shadow campaign, I haven't played through all of that yet. So it's like I'm having a hard enough time playing the stuff that's actually out for the game that I haven't had time to mess with any of the fan-made stuff at all. Even though I know a lot of it looks really cool and really awesome. So the community's doing a great job putting all of that stuff together. Huh. What's the tastiest thing that you can cook? I really enjoy like homemade tacos where you make the meat, like you make like ground beef and then you have like chorizo and like refried beans and black beans and like all sorts of different stuff on like flour tortilla shells or corn tortilla shells, and like you have all these different fixings that you have that you can put into your taco. I like making that up and having like tons of different stuff that you can put into your taco and having everybody come and like make the tacos the way they want to. I really enjoy that as like that's one of the things that I can cook that I really enjoy. I mean, it's not really even cooking that much. I mean, browning ground beef and throwing in the seasoning, like throw some cumin and salt and different things in there and make it good. But yeah, I really enjoy tacos. I mean, who doesn't like tacos? Come on. Oh wow. Will you ever bring back the Battle Royale game show? That was fun. There's so many things that like were done when I felt like I had time to make that stuff happen. We're pretty busy on a tight schedule and things like that. That was fun to do. There was a lot of prep beforehand to put it all together, and it was a lot of fun to make happen. And I enjoyed doing stuff with Mark and Brian. But man, I'd almost forgotten about that. I wonder if I even still have the files for Battle Royale. If anybody wants to know, it's like a bracket show that I made where we would have either like the chat guests. Actually, the first episode, we chose who won in each part of the bracket. The second one, I had a actual poll that would immediately put up and people would vote on. So it's interesting because you could do that with all sorts of different topics and different things like that. And it's interesting to see the crowdsourced bracket of the fight of the different matchups. And the randomness of the matchup sometimes would end up messing up a game that you would think would get really far, but then the current people in chat would boot it out because of the bracket. It's definitely an interesting concept, a lot going on there. But yeah, I don't know if it'll come back or not, but it'll probably stay retired for a bit. Let's see. What does that even mean? What Dice Tower video have you had the most fun editing? There's a bunch of different videos that are always decently fun editing. I love when you get to be creative and stuff like that. Probably one of the silly things. I had fun when we did the one of the look back things, and it was the behind the scenes for the new studio. And Tom we had the old studio had this old shed, and Tom was like, I don't know what you need to do, but I want you to make Bonacore pop up out of that shed. And I was able to make Bonacore pop up. That was funny. It was a good laugh. But anything where you actually get to be creative and like figure out how you want everything to go. But a lot of the stuff that I do is mostly just putting stuff together for running live streams. I love editing the stuff for the spectaculars as well, because Tina does an amazing job with all of the art that we use for our spectaculars, and she gives it to me in layers now, so I can like manipulate the different characters and have them move around. Those are always really fun to edit as well, just because I love the art that Tina does for all that stuff. Let's see here. Oh wow, there's a bunch of people saying all the things. If you were ever design a sequel to your game, what would you call it? I've actually thought about this because it's always funny because like my game is about the heat death of the universe, and it's like, oh, what do you do after that? But there's always interesting concepts about like, well, what if the alien civilization created Dyson sphere around the star, and life continued on past that in a simulation, or maybe you could make a game about the robots that are controlling the Dyson sphere, helping it to gain energy and things like that. I've had weird, crazy thoughts, but let's get game number 1 off the ground first. So. Let's see. Ooh, what is your favorite D&D class? I've played a bunch of different classes in D&D, and I enjoy a bunch of them. I don't know if they have it in 5th. I really enjoyed like the sword mage because it was like you had like melee stuff, but you still had a little bit of magic stuff going on as well. I enjoy rangers and stuff like that. I enjoy rogues. When I play games, I like to have a character that's not just like basic normal. Like I don't want to be the warrior who's just like, I just hit things. I want to have somebody who has like either a little bit of like arcane or a little bit of like mysterious stuff going on. That's normally a thing. Some sort of magic user. Horde of the Board says, hi Roy, I just wanted to say you guys rock. You rock also. And I hope you guys come to Essen this year. Yeah, that would be awesome. I've never been to Germany. I really hope the Dice Tower is able to make it out there this year. I know we weren't able to come this year, the last year, but hopefully in the future we're able to make that sort of thing happen. And make sure to check out the Dice Tower Kickstarter that's coming up, because your support will help that sort of thing happen as we go along. Majority of our funding comes from the Dice Tower Kickstarter, so definitely you have to check that out. We do a crowdfunding thing every single year, and we all put a lot of work into it. A lot of what I've been doing this week is doing the normal live streams and all of the editing and for reviews as well, but then also helping Z out with like making sure we have images for like the different things we're making, like, okay, we're gonna do this and that, and like making sure everything's in place, like making sure we have all of the publishers listed and things like that that are helping us out with our promos and things like that. But definitely when the Kickstarter comes out, I think it's in 5 days, you have to make sure to check it out if you wanna continue to enjoy our content. It definitely means a lot to us, everybody who backs our Kickstarter, and we literally can't do the Dice Tower without you guys, so it'd be awesome to have you join in for that. And you know, that helps us be able to get to events and run our own stuff and be able to maybe go to other countries for things like that, because this stuff is not easy to pull off. Oh wow. Roy, are you psyched about the new Kamigawa set for Magic the Gathering? Are you still playing Magic? I haven't played Magic a ton recently. I was doing a little bit of Pauper with my kids. I was like building some Pauper decks. I haven't messed with this stuff too much recently. We did that live stream where we played some of the D&D set, and I was pretty excited about that because I love D&D. It was cool to see all the different D&D stuff thrown in there in Magic the Gathering. I never played through Kamigawa. I did a lot more Mirrodin stuff and things like that, and I know they've already re-gone to Mirrodin, and I played a little bit of Innistrad and stuff like that. But it'll be cool to see what they do with Kamigawa, and it looked like they were trying to add like a little bit of a cyberpunk slant to it as well. So that I'm always interested in seeing the cards and the way the art style is going with the game, and I'm always interested in like how the game is going currently. But like, I stopped playing Magic because I can't afford to keep up with it, and keeping all the meta in your head is definitely difficult. Because I mean, when I played a lot. I was getting to the point where I was winning Friday Night Magics with like 80 some people going to them and stuff like that. And Magic isn't pay to win, but it's definitely pay to compete. You know, if you don't have a good deck, if you're not able to keep whatever's good in the meta, you're not going to have a chance to be able to get there. But then after that, you still have to be an extremely good player who minimizes all your play mistakes. You min-max your deck and make sure it's as streamlined as possible, and you're playing something that can outpace your opponents, and you don't mess up as you play the game. And I don't have the mental ability to use it for that right now, because like Magic takes up a lot of like brain power to be able to focus on building things, because I like board games, and that's one of the things I love about board games is you can throw it on a table and play it with anybody. And I enjoy a lot of games where anybody has like a little bit of a fair shake at kind of winning that game. I enjoy a little bit more randomness in my games for that reason as well, because I don't want to like have to learn and master a specific board game and crush my opponents the same way. I'd rather like play something where we can have fun and have an experience. But yes, way out of the way for answering a Magic question, but you know, rabbit holes. Do you ever play solo? Marvel Champions. If I'm going to play solo, normally I'll bring out my Marvel Champions stuff and play through a game of that. I've been playing it more multiplayer as well. My girlfriend enjoys playing Marvel Champions with me, so we started the Mad Titan Shadow campaign, but haven't finished it out yet. But yeah, I really enjoy playing that game solo specifically. I played a lot of the Arkham Horror, the card game, and I played the Lord of the Rings card game. I don't play a whole lot of other solo games. It's mostly just card game stuff. Mentioning, I played a ton of Magic. These LCGs kind of fit in that same realm. I really enjoy that sort of stuff. So, let's see. What's next? What's next? Da, 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 da. Everybody trying to read into things that I've said. Huh. Oh, hey Roy. I loved your top 10 of 2020. This top 10 anticipated games is what they're talking about. Where is Dark Tower? If you have to make a quick guess on your list. So Dark Tower is actually on my list from last year, on my anticipated games list, and I have played Dark Tower. The version I played with Justin, there's actually a live stream on the channel if you want to check that out. Me, Mike, and Chris all played with Justin Jacobson of Restoration Games. So I have played that game, so I know kind of what it's like, and I really enjoy it, and that's why it's not on my current anticipated for 2020. Also, we have it here in the studio, and I think content for that should be coming out decently soon after we have more people playing it. I'm sure we will be able to make that happen. But yeah, I really enjoy Dark Tower. I don't know where it would rank on my list, probably around the same as it did on the last one. So if you want to go check out my most anticipated of 2021, you can check that out too. Da, da, da. Are you ready for a swimming competition against Camilla? I'm pretty sure I would get massacred in a swimming competition, but we may be doing a 5K soon. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm guessing she's probably way more able to outpace me in any sort of that physical activity stuff, I'm sure. I mostly just like to have fun and not go too hard on that sort of stuff. How many licks does it take to get to the center of a frozen burrito? It depends on how much hot sauce you have, for sure. Cover up the mediocreness with hot sauce. Kenny plus air horn equals epic. Don't give him any more ideas. We don't need that. We do not need that. Can we make epically pranking Kenny one of the new stretch goals? I keep saying we need to like do something, and me and Tom had like, Kenny, I hope you're not watching, had like slight plans to do something at one time, but it always falls through. And Kenny's always so busy these days. It's like we hate to distract him by messing him up so much. I really wanted to like take the mannequin and drive to his house and put it like right outside his front door and like knock on the door and leave. And he'd be like, "Why is Manny at my house?" I mean, he would know why Manny's at his house, but it would be very strange to have the mannequin from the studio all the way at his house. But who knows? Maybe someday I'll be able to get him back for all the hardship he's put us through. Your son knows what's up. One Piece is awesome. I agree. One Piece is pretty cool. I need to watch more of it. I know there's a bajillion episodes of it. I'm still very much near the beginning of it, so I don't know all that stuff. How did you get involved with the Dice Tower? Ooh, so I've been doing stuff with the Dice Tower for an extremely long time. I actually started my entry to the Dice Tower was through Board Game Blender, which is a show that Z used to run as a variety show. And I did a podcast at the time, my own board game podcast, and Mark Street was on Blender and was doing a little bit of stuff with the Dice Tower. And he referred me to like hit up Z and the group about trying to get into it. So I made a segment and sent it in. I don't even remember what it was called at the time because I had segments that were like from easy to epic was one of mine where I'd talk about an easy game and then something epic. And I just had different things like that I had like segments on there that I talk about on Blender. And then I started doing the token punch / throat punch lunch thing with Sam. And then I started doing Favorite Game Friday on the channel. I've been doing Favorite Game Friday for like 6 years now. It started on Instagram, moved over to the Dice Tower, and I've been doing that for forever on the channel. And I started doing reviews on the channel as well. And then also when I go to different events and like conventions and stuff like that, I started helping them out at the booth. And I really became a part of all this different stuff. And I really wanted to continue to do more and more stuff with the Dice Tower as things went along because I just really enjoyed promoting the hobby, and I really enjoyed the service of like helping people know whether or not a game is a good decision to purchase or something that they can look away from and try to go after something else. I love what the Dice Tower brings to the community and the hobby. And I ended up, when a spot came up for a editor position at the Dice Tower, I jumped at it and ended up getting the position and moving all the way down here to Miami, and it's been a blast ever since. It's just fun, like being able to be such a part of the hobby. I feel like the Dice Tower is such a big part of board gaming as far as like we cover almost everything. Like we cover more stuff than most of the channels put together, and we cover things that are tiny that people have never heard about and things that are gigantic and stuff all over the place that just helps people make an informed decision on board games. That's one of the things I'm really passionate about is like, if you're going to get into a game, you should be able to be informed about that game. We all talked about in our anticipated list that like we're all very frugal about like how we spend our money and things like that. And I think that's one of the reasons we're drawn to the Dice Tower, because it helps us be informed about a game and like figure out if it's something that would work with our friends and family and figure out if it's something that's worth the time to hit our table. And I really enjoy that the Dice Tower brings such a wide variety of different perspectives on board games for that. So yes, the Dice Tower is awesome. The weather here in Indiana is amazing as well. I'm sure, I mean, there's a lot of people that really enjoy all sorts of different weathers, especially if you're living where you enjoy the weather, that's where you should be. That's awesome. Cranking the AC today. Yeah, it's rough. Rough. Let's see. Lots of people saying all sorts of... top 5 movies. Go. Was The Lord of the Rings count as 3 or as 1? Lord of the Rings is my favorite by far. I love Lord of the Rings. It's awesome. I also enjoy the original trilogy of Star Wars is really good. Goodness. See, I'm not as good at categorizing top 10s like Tom is. Movies. What are favorite movies? I love anything Marvel. I love, probably the rest of my list would be filled up with Marvel movies. I love all the Infinity War stuff, Endgame. The new Spider-Man movie was amazing. I love Doctor Strange. I love Avengers. I love all that stuff. I love a ton of the different stuff that comes out of Marvel. So, I mean, I could almost fill up majority of my list with just that. But yeah, and then I like some silly stuff like the old, like Time Bandits and silly crazy stuff like that. But yeah, good stuff. Zelda or Metroid? I love Zelda. Zelda hands down. I haven't played as much Metroid, nearly as much. I played tons of the different Zelda games. I really enjoy those. So, does your love of space-themed games also translate to a love of space? Are you excited about James Webb's the James Webb Space Telescope? I definitely love all sorts of different stuff about space. I mean, I think it's exciting when they do more stuff to try to like figure out more about like astronomy or like all the different astrological bodies. I'm a really big fan of like, who is it? Isaac Arthur has a YouTube channel where he talks a ton about different like futurism and like space stuff and like trying to figure out how to get humanity to different planets and like the aspect of like being an or a multiplanetary species and stuff like that. Like, is it possible? It's just so crazy to even just think about it. I just enjoy thinking about how far away things are and like, is there even an option to escape the solar system? Because it's so far and the ships move so slow. Like sci-fi grandizes space so much and makes it seem so awesome, and there's spaceships going around everywhere, but like going from one star system to another is insane. Like it's insanely far. Like it's crazy, and I don't know that humanity will ever make it out of our own solar system, but it'll be interesting to see. And I mean, as things progress, then you can see the different ideas and the theories that people have about all that stuff. I really enjoy. I used to watch a ton of stuff, like videos about like quantum physics and about all sorts of different science stuff. I'm just intrigued by science in general, and that just leads to a gigantic curiosity about space and like all the different things out there. And you know, exploration of that stuff seems really exciting. We'll have to start with like, you know, the different planetary bodies around our star first, I'm sure. But we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, Foundations of Rome definitely is a big box. That is for sure. Are you a PlayStation or Xbox gamer? I'm actually a Switch gamer. If I'm going to actually play video games on a console thing, which I know Switch is far behind, I really enjoy the light family nature of a lot of the Nintendo style games. I'll play Mario games. I'll play Zelda is huge. I like a lot of the stuff that the Switch brings, and I'll play stuff on that. I really enjoy Pokemon a lot as well. So it's all Nintendo stuff. So I really enjoy Switch. Do you watch or follow any sports teams? I was just never really into sports that much. I played soccer in elementary, or football, depending on which country you're in. But yeah, I never was super big on like watching other people play sports at all. The physical activity and that and stuff, it was never my thing. Marvel Champions date night. You know it for sure. Favorite non-Dice Tower convention. I still have an affinity for Gen Con. Like before I was with the Dice Tower, I went to Gen Con and I helped work at the Gray Fox booth like forever ago. And I went with like a bunch of my like game group friends, and it was always a blast, like cramming a whole bunch of people into a hotel room and then going and seeing the sights and sounds of Gen Con. I love how crazy and hectic it is. I used to love going to like gigantic shows when I played in bands and stuff like that, so the crowds didn't bother me ever. And I always enjoy seeing the new exciting games. And Gen Con is one of those conventions where it feels like everybody is there. So it's always awesome to go to Gen Con. I love that one for sure. If you're talking about Dice Tower, the cruise is the best. Like the cruise is crazy. Cruise is amazing. Let's see. Have you played Eclipse Second Dawn for the Galaxy? I still haven't seen a review for it on the Dice Tower. I'm ashamed to say I have not played the updated version of Eclipse. I really want to. I've been sidetracked by other 4X games, if you know what I mean. But yeah, man, I'd love to make that hit the table. I really wanted to during the retreat, but I was never able to like make it happen. I'd love to play it on the cruise or at Dice Tower West or something like that. Like get the time to like crack that out and play that with a bunch of people. It would be awesome. I really do enjoy Eclipse. You're always welcome here in Norway if you can stand the cold. Funny fact, I can stand the cold. Like I was talking today with the group here about how I think my tolerance for like temperatures is pretty high. Like I don't mind it being a little bit colder than most people would enjoy, and then I also don't mind it being a little bit warmer than most people enjoy. Like I don't mind the extremities of temperature as much as some people would. I don't know, maybe I just have willpower to not care about it as much. But I mean, yeah, I used to work in a cooler freezer when I worked at a food facility that distributed Mexican food. I always worked in the cooler, so it was always cold in there. And then when I worked at Target, we worked in the freezer often. And then of course North Carolina has decently cold weather. It's not too crazy, but I would have to like work outside in the cold a lot at Target as well, because I was facilities management. We always had to walk the grounds outside and things like that. Yeah. So many questions. I feel like I'm so far behind. If aliens landed at the Dice Tower, what game would you teach them? Yeah, if aliens landed at the Dice Tower, I don't think teaching board games would be the first thing on the docket. There'd probably be a lot of other things going on before that happens, seeing that, as far as I know, this would be the first time that something like that would happen. But if they came down to the Dice Tower and said, "Oh, we're huge fans of the Dice Tower. We've been watching your YouTube channel. We're here. Take us to your leader, Tom Bassel, and we want to be taught a game," we'd obviously want to teach a very friendly, a very nice, cooperative game. Something that's not too unpleasant. Man, what would be the best, friendliest, most, work together, hold hands cooperative game that we can think of? Because, I would probably try to think of a cooperative game that doesn't even have, combat mechanics. Thank you. But yeah, I don't know. It would definitely be a cooperative game, though, because, we want to set off on the right foot that we're teammates, If you're flying through interstellar space to get to us, unless they came from inside the solar system, which would be really strange, because they would have had to be really quiet for that to happen. But they're flying through interstellar space to get to us, to play a board game. We definitely want them on our side, so. But yeah. Who knows? Very silly. Oh wow, people are asking the same questions. See, Ron agrees with me. Ron's super big into Marvel Champions. He agrees that that they should have a X-Men starter set so they can reprint the rules as well, so we don't have to have the FAQ as much and you can have it all solid again. Oh man, so many awesome X-Men. Oh man. Name 1 to 3 non-gaming YouTubers you like to watch. Let's see. There's some that I used to watch that I don't watch as much. Isaac Arthur is definitely one of them. That's the one I was talking about that has a bunch of the space and stuff like that. I like what is it? MKHD or whatever. The tech reviewer, Marcus Brownlee, I think is his name. He does a bunch of the tech stuff and he gets advanced copies of some really cool stuff. I really enjoy. He reviews all the Apple stuff. He ends up reviewing a lot of Teslas and things like that. So I enjoy his content as well. Who do I actually subscribe to that isn't board gaming? It's crazy because majority of all of my subscriptions is all board gaming channels and all board gaming media stuff. So it's just a ton of that is mostly my entire feed. I can't think of too many others that I subscribe to that are not board games. There's a ton of them out there though. I'll occasionally watch stuff. Was it specific to board games? It's non-gaming. That makes it harder too, because there's some that are video games or Magic that I subscribe to as well. And if it's non-gaming, what's that? Hey Roy, I used to play Redemption with you back in the day. It's really cool to see you on the Dice Tower. Yeah. I had a ton of fun playing Redemption forever ago, and that was definitely where I found my love of card games. And now one of my favorite games is still a card game, Marvel Champions. So I definitely grew up loving to play a bunch of tabletop card games and things like that. So Redemption kind of got me my start in enjoying that sort of game. Oh wow, have you heard of Con of Heroes, a Marvel Champions con in May? No, I haven't heard about it, Ron. I wonder where it's at. That sounds cool. Man, that would be crazy, just all Marvel Champions the whole time. That'd be intense. I'm sure people would have crazy decks. I like to play Marvel Champions decently casual. They'd probably think that I'm a noob at that point. But yeah, that sounds awesome. Wow, all sorts of questions. We're getting close here, so I'm trying to figure out what... Oh, here we go. This is a good one. Do you play or plan to play any tabletop miniatures games? I really enjoy tabletop miniatures. It's really hard though because I don't feel like I have anybody locally to really play them with too much. I have a massive amount of the Rune Wars miniatures game, which was Fantasy Flight's like tray troop like game where you'd move trays of guys. It kind of used a little bit of the template system from X-Wing, but then combat dice that felt more like Battle or different things like that. I really enjoy the initiative system and the combat in Rune Wars. But the game is like largely dead. They stopped printing stuff for it, and I have basically everything for it. Like I have my game shelf that I have all my games on is a 5x5 Calyx, and it's slap full of board games, but then the entire top of it, the entire thing, is just Rune Wars miniatures, and it's a massive amount. And I've played the game a little bit with my dad. I used to play it more when I was up in North Carolina. They had some tournaments back in the day, which I don't think they do anymore up there. But I enjoyed that a lot. I have played some of the Lord of the Rings miniatures game from Games Workshop. I mean, if you're going a little bit more abstract, I really enjoy things like Hero Clicks and stuff like that as well. I enjoy miniatures games. I enjoy the hobby aspect of painting them up and things like that. I don't necessarily have time to do it, and it's hard to get into the meta of like keeping up with all that stuff. I love Warhammer 40K, but paying for that stuff is crazy. It's a lot of money, but I think the people that have the time to get into those hobbies, it's a lot of fun. Yeah. What was your first job at the Dice Tower? This job I'm currently doing right now, doing board game editing. I edited videos and make sure all of the live stream and production stuff like that is going on. I definitely did a lot of volunteering and helping out with stuff. The first thing I was on was definitely Z's thing, board game Blender, back in the day. Well, it looks like we're hitting an hour right now, so I want to say thanks to everybody for checking out the Q&A here. And thanks for everybody for checking out the Dice Tower. We're still going to have a ton of videos going up. And I don't know if anybody's seen, like, I have a little bit of, we're going to be having a big video coming up this weekend. I don't know if Tom's talked about it much, but you have to check it out. I'm definitely excited about putting that together this week. That one's going to be a fun one, speaking of fun videos to put together. Definitely check that out. I think it's coming out on Sunday. Being a little bit more cagey about that, but it might have to do with certain ink and things like that. So super excited about that. Thanks for everybody for joining us. Make sure to check out our Kickstarter. That's going to be coming out in 5 days. It definitely means a lot if you support us on that and helps us keep doing what we're doing here. And it's been a blast talking to everybody. You're all great. And it's fun to be able to put together content for all of you. You guys are the reason we do this. But until next time, it's been a lot of fun. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.